I'm going to talk about plays. I'm also going to, as we go and at the end, talk a little bit about structural changes that we're experimenting with for next year and why some of those structural changes exist. So we are opening 4 plays at the top of the season in a pretty thrilling structural change. You remember back in the day, we used to have 2 plays that ran all year, the 2 long-running Bomers, right? Shakespeare and Something Not by Shakespeare, 2 plays that ran all year. About 6 years ago, we began to introduce the long-running show in the Thomas, which we've done ever since. We started with King Lear in 2013, and every year since then, we have had a show that runs all year. Next year, why not add more? There can't be too much of a good thing. We're going to have all 4 plays that open at the top of the season run all year long. Frankly, I'm just tired of the letters from you all complaining about why did you close that one? And how in the world could you have imagined that you could close that play? And so we are going to run the opening 4 all year long. So the first play running all season in the Angus Bomer Theatre is William Shakespeare's beautiful comedy, As You Like It. And As You Like It is going to be directed by a new OSF veteran, Rosa Joshi, who directed this season's production of Henry V. And we are incredibly excited to get her back. This is a director who really, really knows and really loves Shakespeare. She loves Shakespeare's language, and she loves working with actors to unpack Shakespeare's language and Shakespeare's themes. And she is as excited as we are to have her come back and work on this project. Running all year long, along with As You Like It, is going to be a musical comedy. It's going to be directed by an OSF veteran director. His name is Christopher Liam Moore. And the musical is called Hairspray. That was a collective gasp, and then there was some applause, and then there was some talk. So I'm just feeding back to you your reaction, and I like that. Hairspray, the book is by Mark O'Donnell and Thomas Meehan. The music is by Mark Shaman. The lyrics are by Scott Whitman and Mark Shaman, and it is based on the New Line cinema film written and directed by John Waters. It is already a very inclusive musical in terms of its themes, very aligned with OSF's values, but Chris has ideas about taking this inclusive musical and making it even more inclusive in ways that I think are going to be deeply moving to all of you, and I'm very excited about it. The third play running all year long in the Angus Bomer Theatre is a world premiere. And this world premiere is by a man who's in this room, Octavio Solis. Octavio, you want to stand up? Yeah. Octavio, I'm going to say the name of your play, and I'm going to say who's directing it, and then I'm going to ask you to talk about it for a minute, if that's okay. Absolutely. Yeah. So Octavio has written an extraordinary new play that I think some of you have gotten to know. It's called Mother Road. It was done as part of the Latinx Play Project recently, last year, getting some big thumbs up already, yay. And it is Octavio's imagined sequel to The Grapes of Wrath. And I, lucky me, have the privilege of directing the world premiere of Octavio's play next season, running all year in the Bomer. Lucky me. So, Octavio, please tell us a few words about your play. And you're welcome to get up on stage or wherever you're comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yesterday you mentioned to the large company call how the season was going to be about transitions.
Yes.
Because of your transition.
Yes.
But this play is also about transitions. Mm-hmm. It's about a transition from one paradigm to another, from one culture to another, from one generation to another. Mm-hmm. And it all came about because I was asked by the Steinbeck Center to join them and 2 other artists and their staff on a field trip, a long road trip. We flew to Oklahoma City, and then in a rented recreational vehicle, large vehicle and a van, we all piled in there with a film crew, and we drove all the way to Sallisaw, Oklahoma, which is far eastern Oklahoma, where the story of the Grapes of Wrath takes place. And over 2.5 weeks, we took the same road trip, the same route, over Route 66, the mother road that the Joad family took all the way to Bakersfield, California, with several stops along the way where we had community partners that talked to us about that brought together people from their community that told us about their experiences with the novel, with the Dust Bowl, with the Depression, and with World War II. But we also talked to young people about the problems, their own depression, their own Dust Bowl, their own experience with war, whether it's a personal inner war or war on a national scale, a large scale. And accumulated all these stories, and from all these stories, I started, working my little cogs up here, and came up with this story, which I am very eager and have been looking forward for quite a number of years to showcase in the right theater, and I held out.
You did.
For so long. I pushed the other theaters away, saying, hold on, because they all wanted to do it. But I really thought that its home was here at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. So much so that because I think of it as my home now, too. I've had 3 works done here, and my wife and I relocated from San Francisco here to the Rogue Valley 3 years ago, and I feel very much a proud member of the Oregon community, and really, honestly, part of the family of the Oregon Shakespeare Festival.
Here.
So thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Beautiful. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Amazing. Yes. There's yet another play opening on the same weekend here in the Thomas Theater, and that is another new play. It is called Cambodian Rock Band. It is by Lauren Yee, and it is going to be directed by another OSF veteran. You'll notice that all 4 of these opening shows are being directed by OSF veteran directors. And Lauren's play, did I say it's being directed by Che Yu? Okay, it's being directed, I did, okay. Lauren's play is set in the 1970s during the Cambodian genocide and today. And it is part mystery, part thriller, part comedy, and part rock concert. And it is an extraordinary work of art, and I think is going to be in a really vibrant dialogue with Mother Road and with As You Like It. There's a lot of road plays, a lot of transition and road plays going on at the top of the season. And so, again, all 4 of these opening shows are all running all season long, which we're very, very excited about. Our next opening, what's that? Che Yu, who directed Hana and the Dread Gazebo last season and directed Our Town in my first season 10 years ago, and is the artistic director of Victory Gardens Theater in Chicago. Yes. So the next show to open is also here in the Thomas, and it is a world premiere from the ever-prolific American Revolutions program. Can we give some love to Allison and Julie and American Revolutions? The smartest thing I ever did was ask Allison Carey to run American Revolutions, and the smartest thing she ever did was ask Julie to come and run it with her. And it's an amazing program, as you all know. This is a world premiere, as I said, a commission from the Native American sketch comedy troupe, the 1491s. These are 5 Native artists. I like that applause. 5 extraordinary Native American artists who are writing a piece called Between Two Knees. And it charts an indigenous family from the Wounded Knee Massacre in the late 19th century to the occupation of the same land in the 1970s. The 1491's play, Between Two Knees, is a co-commission with New Native Theater, which is a vital Native American theater based in the Twin Cities. And artistic director Rihanna Yazi, somebody we've been in partnership over several years now. And so we're very excited that this play is being brought into the world with the efforts of both our theaters. And Between Two Knees is going to be directed by Eric Ting, who is the artistic director of Cal Shakes in the Bay Area. So those of you with lives, friends, family in the Bay Area will know Eric and his work. And he is also an OSF first-time director that we're very excited to welcome to the campus, having tried to get him here in the past. And we finally found a project that worked with his busy schedule. Once it opens in early April, it will run through the entire season as well. Normally at this time, I would share with you the April opening show in the Bomer. But guess what? There is no show opening in April in the Angus Bomer Theater. That was your cue to gasp. This is one of the structural changes that we are exploring in our 2019 season. We have heard again and again and again about the challenges of how we go from 4 performances a week of a popular show like Destiny of Desire or To Kill a Mockingbird or Fingersmith, and we drop it to only 2 a week, right? And we start a show that's going to hopefully be very popular like Oklahoma, and it only performs twice a week. And also the challenges of shutting down the Angus Bomer Theater right in the springtime at the height of the school visit, a peak time of students visiting us. So for all those reasons and more, we have decided to not shut down the Bomer in April to open another show. So we're going to have all 3 of these long-running plays that I've described in the Bomer continue to perform roughly 4 times a week, all the way through the spring. And we're not going to bring our final Bomer show into the mix until the early summer. Right around 4th of July, we're going to open another American Revolutions play, one that some of you have heard of, which is Paula Vogel's Indecent. And yes, which we are so happy is finally coming home to OSF. We co-commissioned it with Yale Rep. We were an important part of its birth, but other theaters got to it before we did, and it premiered at Yale Rep and went to La Jolla Playhouse and the Vineyard in New York, and then of course performed on Broadway last season, won 2 Tony Awards, was aired on PBS. How many of you got to see that airing on PBS? Everybody in this section of the audience, and a few over here. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful play that charts in a Yiddish play called The God of Vengeance, from when it is first written through several decades. There's a lesbian love story at the heart of it, and it looks at, well, there's so many themes, I don't even know where to begin, but it is a very long overdue return of a Jewish author, Jewish-themed story to our stages. And we are so proud that it's part of the American Revolutions program, and that it's a beautiful work of art. And it will open in early July. And I'm also proud to announce that its director will be another OSF veteran and an Ashland native, Shauna Cooper. Shauna directed Julius Caesar last season, directed The Unfortunates here in this room, and a production of Love's Labor's Lost many years back. And so we're very excited that Shauna's coming back to her hometown and to her home theater to direct that show. Before Indecent opens, however, we've got 3 shows to open in the Allen Elizabethan. And as we continue with our schedule experiments, we are going to actually begin rehearsals and begin performances for the Allen Elizabethan shows 1 week earlier than we have in the past. So we are actually going to be going into previews the day after Labor Day, on Memorial Day, rather. That was my first major mistake. I get 2 more, I think, today. Yes, the day after Memorial Day, we are going to go into previews for the Elizabethans. And we are doing that because all of our scheduling changes, we really wanted to be thoughtful about studying our patterns of attendance and when are the slow times when we can consolidate audiences and have even fuller houses for those times of year, and when are the times when we've got so many people here and we want to give more options, right? So having those Elizabethans start a week earlier in relative to the other shows feels like absolutely the right choice. The other thing that's very exciting that you're going to learn as I keep talking is that once we open a show, it will never close. So everything that we open will keep on running till the closing of the season. And it also means for the first time in OSF's history, somebody can come and in one visit see everything, which again, we've gotten so many complaints about for so many years. And we're very, very excited that an audience member can choose to stay long enough, anybody coming from out of town can stay long enough to see the entire body of work of the season. Yes, it's a good thing. So the shows on the outdoor stage, first of all, I'm in a theater and I'm superstitious enough, I'm going to call it the Scottish play. We all know what I'm talking about. The Scottish play is going to be done on the outdoor stage for the first time in 25 years. And it is going to be directed by somebody I'm very proud to announce, José Luis Valenzuela, who directed this season's production of Destiny of Desire. And José Luis is an absolute American master director, and for him to come and do this great classic on our flagship stage outdoors under the stars, it's going to be a big event, and we're very, very excited about that. Also running on the outdoor stage is William Shakespeare's bittersweet comedy, All's Well That Ends Well. And it has been, you thought the Macbeth, well, I said it. I'm not that superstitious. 25 years on that one seemed like a long time. It's been 35 years since the last All's Well That Ends Well outdoors. And so we're very, very excited to bring that title back outside. And it's going to be directed by another OSF veteran director, Tracy Young, who you remember directed Servant of Two Masters in this room, directed The Imaginary Invalid and A Wrinkle in Time, among others. So we're very, very excited to welcome Tracy back. She's got a director with an extraordinary knack for comedy and a deep connection with the actors that she works with. And it's going to be beautiful to see how she and her colleagues create All's Well That Ends Well. Finally, on the outdoor stage, we are bringing a story that is beloved by multiple generations of families. And we trust that multiple generations of families will come and see it at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And this is an adaptation of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. And that was the longest, So I don't know what to make of that, but I like it. I think that's good. So Alice in Wonderland, this adaptation was done by Eva Le Gallienne and Florida Freebus in 1932. And it has been revived over the years since then. And it is going to be created in collaboration with the OSF Rep Company of Actors by its director. And I'm very proud to announce that this director, I'm saying proud a lot today, and I don't care that I'm repeating that word because I am proud of this season. I'm very proud that long-term veteran, much beloved acting company member Sarah Bruner is going to be directing Alice in Wonderland. How many of you in this room saw the Daedalus reading of Cabaret that she did? So you know what a gifted director Sarah is, and it's really our honor that she's agreed to jump into the director's seat next season and helm Alice in Wonderland. So that's the outdoor season. Everybody with me? We are now moving on to, I already talked about Indecent, which is opening in early July. Now, those of you who really know your OSF schedule might notice that normally we open the Last Thomas show in early July, and the last Bomer show at the end of July or even early August, as with Snow and Midsummer this year. We are flipping those because of not having that that April Bomer show. We want to maximize the number of weeks that we have the highest number of seats available for our audience. So in that spirit, we are going to open the final Bomer show earlier, right at the very top of July, and then the final Thomas show will open at the end of July. And this year, the final Thomas show is called How to Catch Creation. It is going to be a West Coast premiere of a beautiful new play by Christina Anderson, and it is going to be directed by Nataki Garrett, a director I've long wanted to get here. First time, oh good, it gets a nice reaction. Nataki is the Associate Artistic Director at Denver Center and a really accomplished director and theater leader, and we are very excited to welcome her here. Christina Anderson has written a gorgeous play. It traces the lives of 6 characters, 2 in the 1960s, and a feminist lesbian novelist and her partner, and the people whose lives, both her novels and their lives, have impacted 40 years later. So it's set across a gap of 40 years, and it is, it's very hard to describe. It is, you know, sometimes OSF does plays that are very, well, I'm not going to describe what it's not. I'm going to describe what it is. It is a quiet, meditative, deep relationship play that's funny and very sweet and very touching. And I love its tonal contrast to the other plays in the season, and I'm very, very proud and excited that we're doing it. So that is the end of what we were calling the 10 main stage shows, the 10 plays that are in regular slots. However, the 11th project in the 2019 season is going to be my final show, not my final show at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, I hope, my successor willing, but my final show as artistic director of the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And it is going to be an unusual project that I am passionately excited about. And it is going to be our resident playwright, Louisa Faro, his, right, that gets applause right away, I agree, his bilingual Spanish and English adaptation of his play-on translation of William Shakespeare's The Comedy of Errors. So I get to direct this one, and we are going to tour this production, building on the extraordinary work of Freda Casillas, my beloved colleague who runs our audience development department, in building partnerships with communities, both Latinx and white and all communities in Southern Oregon and Northern California, community partners in our own backyard who may have been historically not felt welcome to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, right? And how can we continue to reach out to those community partners and really share work and welcome people here to our campus? So we're going to be touring this bilingual production of The Comedy of Errors to community centers across our community partners in our own neighborhoods. And we are then going to share this project here in the Thomas Theater a couple times a week as well. It is going to be done with no theatrical lighting, no projections, no pre-recorded sound. There are going to be 9 actors and a musician and some costumes and props. And we're going to do it in community centers and multipurpose rooms and places of worship throughout the region. And then we're going to do it right here in the Thomas with no theatrical lighting and no pre-recorded sound. So it is really going to be the actors and the audience, right? A platform and a plank. That's what we need to tell the story. And we are so excited to launch this because there are many, many things that this pilot project accomplishes all at once, right? Obviously, it's the first time we're going to bring you a play-on translation of a Shakespeare play. It is our first deep immersion in a bilingual work of art that, if we all do our jobs well, will be able to be enjoyed by both monolingual Spanish speakers, monolingual English speakers, and people who are blessed with being bilingual. It is going to be our first ever pairing of a new play and a Shakespeare play. The 9 actors in Octavio's play Mother Road are going to be the same 9 actors in the Comedy of Errors. So we're going to have a rep within the rep of those 9 actors being a rep company doing these 2 very different works of art. And I feel like, to me, this is the heart of OSF. Actors transforming between a classical work and a brand new play, right? That's the heart of OSF. And that's what we want to share in the 2019 season.